Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Jonny Skywatcher Live. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jonny Skywatcher. This is my YouTube channel where I like to talk about movies, TV, gaming, and sometimes some other random things. Who knows? And this is the show where I kind of just throw all of that out there and try to find some topics to talk about, and I just tell you what I think about it. Anyway, today's hope you're having a good Friday. Today's Friday. That's the time when I'm recording this, recording. This is live stream, I should say. And with that out of the way, I guess let's just move on to the first thing. First news item, shall we? So the first thing I wanted to talk about is DC Universe. R.I.P. DC Universe. Long live DC Universe Infinite. It's kind of a weird name, but so this is reported in multiple news outlets. Let's just go to the DC itself. This is from DCUniverse.com. DC Universe transforms into DC Universe Infinite. Now, this is more than just a name change because it's been long rumored that the original programming that's been on DC Universe is going to go to HBO Max, and it has already been in the process of that. Doom Patrol. They put season when. Let me think of this correctly. When they launched HBO Max, they put Doom Patrol Season 1 on HBO Max. And then when Season 2 came out, they put it on both HBO Max and DC Universe. And then also they've put Harley Quinn, the animated TV show, on HBO Max, which has been a DC Universe original, which these have all been signs that this is going to happen, so it's not really surprising. So what's going to happen is DC today announced the evolution of DC Universe into DC Universe Infinite, a premium digital comic book service set to launch on January 21st, 2021, which is going to be similar to Marvel has, I believe, Marvel Unlimited, which is their digital comic book service. And then they kind of go on to say, well, blah, blah. And it's interesting. Well, not really that interesting, but, you know, they don't specifically just come out and say, yeah, DC Universe isn't going to exist anymore, at least as a streaming service. It's going to go to HBO Max. And DC Universe was kind of a weird thing to begin with because as a streaming service, it's pretty niche. You know, it's not just comic book movies or superheroes. It's just DC comic book movies and superheroes. And that's a pretty niche audience. And I think that one of the selling points for people who signed up for it was the fact that, you know, it wasn't just the streaming. The fact that you got all this back catalog of all these other DC stuff. It was the fact that you got all these comics as well, right? And I think that's been one of the main selling points for DC fans. And, you know, it just didn't make sense with having HBO Max. I'm not sure how it lines up with the timing of when the AT&T merger happened and when they decided to do HBO Max. But in other news, Harley Quinn has been renewed for a season 3 at HBO Max, and I guess they sort of announced these things together, or at least on the same day today. So we found out we're getting a season 3. We already knew Doom Patrol is getting a season 3, which is going to be obviously HBO Max only. And we also know that we're getting Young Justice season 4, and then as Titan season 3. And I don't think they've announced Stargirl season 2 yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get that as well. But the question for that would be whether it would be HBO Max or CW, because I think they already sent Stargirl over to CW. And yeah, that name, DC Universe Infinite, is somewhat clunky. I get the idea that they want to maintain the branding of DC Universe, but then to just add Infinite to it, it sounds like an add-on for one thing. It doesn't sound like it's a comic streaming thing. I mean, it's very similar to Marvel Unlimited, DC Infinite. I think that would be preferable, just for name wise, if they call it DC Infinite instead of DC Universe, because DC Universe Infinite, it's just, I don't know. Might as well call it DC Comics Universe Infinite or Detective Comics Universe Infinite. Explore the multiverse. Let's see. I think that's pretty much everything that I have to say about that. I did sign up for a trial with DC Universe, and it seemed a little kind of neat. This was right at the beginning, so all they really had in terms of original content was Titans, and I did not find that very good. I've heard from some people that they've liked it and that maybe it gets better, but I don't know. From everything I've seen of it, Titans is not for me. It's trying too hard to be dark and grim, and no, not interested. I am interested in. I need to watch Young Justice season 3 sometime, and then I did watch Harley Quinn seasons 1 and 2, so I'm excited to see there's going to be a season 3. That should be interesting, and also Doom Patrol. I still need to watch season 2 of Doom Patrol. So there's a whole lot of things. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe I should try just doing a month of HBO Max and catch up on some of these things. Maybe not. Anyway, let me know in the comments below, if you're watching in the future, what do you think about DC Universe? Are you looking forward to it? I mean, what am I saying? I'm kidding. What do you think about DC Universe going away and basically just everything being sent to HBO Max? Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Especially if you happen to have DC Universe now, is this good or bad for you? Because it doesn't sound like they're really changing the pricing. It's just like you're losing all your video content and you're just getting the comics, which I think some people may just be using it right now for the comics, since a lot of the things that were originally going to be just DC Universe have already been sent over to HBO Max. So if you already have HBO Max, it doesn't really make sense to have both, unless you want, like I said, the comics. I wonder what is the pricing difference between this and Marvel Unlimited, because I believe this was like $4.99 a month. I don't know what Marvel Unlimited is. Let me just, Marvel Unlimited price, $9.99 a month. That's a lot. Or $5.83 per month. I don't know. Either way, that sounds more expensive than $4.99. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep the price at $4.99. Let me see. Did they say anything about the price in their main thing? Let's see. DC Universe Infinite will be available online at dcuniverseinfinite.com for $7.99 a month. So I think it's more expensive, unless I was wrong about the price of DC Universe. Well, I think the DC Universe launched with a fairly low price. Oh, it's the same thing, $7.99. So you're paying the same amount, $7.99, for less. Doesn't sound like it'll be a great deal for a lot of people. I don't know. And I believe there's another unlimited service which would probably have less DC content but would have more in general, which is Comixology Unlimited. Let me see, well, how much does that cost? That only costs $5.99 per month. That's part of. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just $5.99 per month, which, granted, would have less DC content, I think. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. So it's Friday. Whoop. I gotta change this text. It's Friday, so let's look at what is opening, or in this case, what is not really opening. There's only one thing opening wide this weekend. It's a movie I've never heard of before, like a couple days ago, when I looked to see what was opening this week, called Infidel. And then this is an article from Box Office Mojo. Tenet braces for week 3 after a disappointing second weekend. I don't know if we can expect Tenet to make much more. It'll be interesting to see. I am very interested to see the results of like this coming weekend, because you have Tenet going into its 3rd week, and then also internationally, I'm interested to see how much it makes, and then I'm also interested in seeing how Mulan does in its 2nd weekend at the Chinese box office, because my prediction is that Mulan will drop even more than Tenet did, and probably be less than 10 million. It opened to 23 million, which was most people consider very disappointing, and I fully expect it to be even less than Tenet's 2nd weekend, which was around 10 million. And then this is the movie that's opening. Whoop, if I can move my mouse out of the way. Infidel. It doesn't look very good. I watched the trailer. It's just like, what? Interesting. I'm looking at it. It has a very high audience score. A low tomato meter score. I mean, I'm guessing the thing with audience scores, with like especially movies like this, is the people who seek out this kind of movie are probably going to enjoy it, are more likely to enjoy it. Whereas the critics, it's only got 7 critics and 57%, so it seems pretty mixed about whether people think it's good or bad. Aided by excellent performances across the board by its international cast, Infidel works best when it's an old-fashioned thriller. The schizophrenic nature of its DNA is both intriguing and confounding. Okay. They don't always pick the best quotes for Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if the critics are the people who pick the quotes for these, or if it's Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, sometimes I think they pick the thing that sounds the best, but it doesn't really give you an idea of what they're saying. Because like this, the schizophrenic nature of its DNA is both intriguing and confounding. And it's you give it a 2 out of 5. So this doesn't sound positive or negative. It just counts like a sentence. Wastes a compelling story by focusing much more on its ideological agenda. So the plot of this movie seems to be this, I don't know what is it? It says, a desperate woman tries to save her husband after he's kidnapped and put on trial for espionage in Iran. So from what I saw the trailer, this guy who's played by Jim, terrible with names, Caviezel, whatever. He is an American who basically gets kidnapped, and then I guess his wife travels to Iran to try and save him, and I don't know. Anyway, that's Infidel. That's the only movie opening in wide release this weekend. I believe there's some other ones. I wasn't really interested in anything else Let me see. I didn't recognize any of these other ones that are opening in limited. The Nest, The Way I See It, Lie Exposed, No Escape, or Ravers. But it doesn't really make a difference to me because I live in New York City and there are still no movie theaters open here. The last time I checked, like I just checked movie show times, the closest movie theater it gives me is in New Jersey. And yeah, I'm not gonna risk going to New Jersey just to see, and to a movie theater just to see Tenet or the New Mutants. Definitely not the Infidel. So yeah, there's still not any great movies out yet. So, or any movie theaters open in New York City. So there's that. And let me see if there's anyone. So I think that's going to be it pretty much today. It's just doing a short stream. This is the end of the third week of doing this show. It's been interesting. It gives me something to do while I'm not working, and I mean, in terms of my YouTube channel, it gives me something to put out, because the problem I run into in creating content is that if I relied solely on, like, okay, I need to make a script and do all of that stuff, 90% of the time it never materializes. At least when I set a goal, like doing a live stream, and especially I've been doing it every weekday, even though the time has varied quite a bit, from like 5:30 to the other day was 8:30. I'm starting to settle more on like 7. 7 seems like a good time for me so far, and it gives me something to focus on, and it sort of forces me to actually do something rather than putting it off, which is what I tend to do. Anyway, that out of the way. Thanks if you're watching. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. All of that good stuff. And what else? I'm going to be streaming on Twitch later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be streaming. I may be Zelda Breath of the Wild, where I'm just collecting Korok seeds, or it might be something else. I haven't really decided yet. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at Jonny Skywatcher. I sometimes post mostly just like video updates, but if like you want to know what's going on with the channel, I usually post videos that I do that I put there, so you can follow me on there if you just aren't subscribed to this for some reason, or if sometimes with YouTube, like, the subscriptions get lost. It's if you have too many subscriptions on your YouTube account, sometimes it's easy just to miss things. And I think that's going to be it for today. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.